It's a weather alert day. Helene, still a hurricane, a Category 1 hurricane. I'll show you when we could see some tornadoes around here and how much rain we could get coming up.
And as Helene makes its way inland, it's leaving major flooding and wind damage behind. We are giving you right now a live look in Asheville and Capitol Boulevard from the WRAL storm tracker this morning.
Plus, storm surge in Florida is threatening homes, businesses, and even hospitals. We'll show you the wall standing strong this morning between floodwaters and the Tampa Memorial Hospital. Here we are on Friday, 4:30, and today is when we'll see the biggest impacts from Helene. Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Lovingood in for Jeff Hogan. Yeah, yesterday we were watching what was unfolding that was happening. Then the meteorologists with their coverage is continuous. And of course, this is something that we're watching very carefully as Helene continues to move inland. We've got meteorologist Amy Wilmoth, who is tracking Hurricane Helene right now. Where is it right now, Amy?
It's moving fast. It's in Georgia, but it's actually approaching South Carolina. You can see the center of circulation right there. So it's moved inland and it has weakened, but it's still a Category 1 hurricane right now. It made landfall in Florida last night as a Category 4 hurricane. That's the strongest on record for the Big Bend region of Florida. Devastating impacts in Florida and Georgia. Again, still a Category 1 hurricane right now. Winds are at 75 miles per hour. It's moving fast to the north at 30 miles per hour. This is a track that I just got in at 4 a.m. It's going to likely be a tropical storm as it moves just to the east of Atlanta at 8 a.m. this morning with winds at 65 miles per hour. And then already this evening, look at where it is. It's way up here as a depression and continues to weaken. But for us, it's going to be the rain and it's going to be the gusty winds and also the threat for tornadoes that we'll be keeping a close eye on. There is a tornado warning down to the south, just to the south of Columbia, South Carolina. Our threat is going to start to increase around here as far as severe weather goes later on this morning. I'll show you that in just a moment. Look at all the flash flood warnings right now in effect for the North Carolina mountains. Part of the mountains, they've seen over a foot of rain already. So it is a huge flood event for our North Carolina mountains. And all this rain goes all the way down into Georgia right now. And again, there's a couple of tornado warnings down to the south. I definitely think we're going to be tracking some tornadoes this morning. We also have the chance for some flooding, 1 to 3 inches possible here. That will lead to flooding. 35 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts. We have a wind advisory right now. That's going to take down some trees. We will have power outages. And again, I do think we're going to have some tornadoes. Let's talk about the timing. The worst of this is going to come during the morning commute. Here's 8 a.m. This band is what we're most concerned about with the potential for tornadoes. Here's where that band is at 9 a.m. approaching the triangle area. As we get into 10 a.m., this is where that strong band is with tornadoes certainly possible, very strong winds. By the time we get to lunchtime, the worst of it will be in the northeastern part of our viewing area. But even beyond lunchtime, a couple of hit and miss showers and storms will be possible. But the worst of this for us is going to come right during the morning commute until around lunchtime today. Many of us under a level 2 risk for severe storms today. The biggest threat, tornadoes. Our southern counties under a level 3 risk for severe storms. We do have a tornado watch in effect for our southern counties. The National Weather Service, they're going to expand that to the north, and I'll let you know when. This is a look at the current wind gusts. We'll keep a close eye on these numbers as well. Coming up, I'm going to talk about the hour-by-hour tornado threat, and we'll show you what that looks like for your area coming up.
Amy, thank you. Hurricane Helene, as she said, pushing inland this morning after landfall in Florida, now making its way across Georgia as a Category 1 storm. This is a live look at Tampa, Florida right now, and more than 1.5 million customers are without power across the state of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. The storm is weakened to a Cat 1. It continues to produce dangerous winds. New this morning, we've learned 2 people have died in southern Georgia after a possible tornado hit near the city of Alamo, and that's about 2 hours from Savannah. 1 person was killed yesterday in Florida when a highway sign fell onto their car. A traffic camera captured the scene on Interstate 4 near Tampa. The names of the 3 who died have not been released this morning.
From the mountains to right here at home, WRAL has the largest team of reporters and meteorologists covering Hurricane Helene. Let's start with WRAL's Sean Gallagher. He's live in Asheville this morning. Sean, that area has seen a lot of rain already, and it is not slowing down.
Yeah, that's for sure, Chris. We got out here probably about 45 minutes ago, and the rain is steady. It's not heavy, but they're also dealing with rains that they had from a couple of days ago where it dumped 6 to 8 inches. They're expecting even more now, and they're also expecting large wind gusts here. The National Weather Service says they can expect gusts up to 50 to 60 miles an hour. I have a wind gauge here, and I've been out here periodically checking, and it's gone up to about, 10 to 13 miles an hour, not quite those 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts, but really it's going to be the floodwaters that are the issue, and people here are worried about it. Check out this video from yesterday that we got when we got right down into Biltmore Village. There were groups that were preparing and gearing up for this storm, putting sandbags down, putting up plywood, anything they can do to try to block what should be these expected floodwaters. Now, this building is a block away from the Swannanoa River, which is expected to crest past its record high that was set in 1916, and concerns are high with the heavy rains they had on Wednesday and now Helene dropping more rain in full force.
Of course, I'm scared. I mean, honestly, more for the tenants and what it means for Biltmore Village and for the damage that it will do.
Now, the National Weather Service says that Biltmore Village could see that record flooding that we're talking about. I just saw a map on Twitter not too long ago that said a large part of the downtown area there could be covered in water. They showed it yesterday that it was expected to crest about 2 feet higher than it was maybe 20 years ago. So definitely an area that we're going to be watching to see how this storm affects it. But for now, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News in Asheville.
Certainly we'll be praying for those people. Thank you, Sean. We are watching conditions here in the Triangle as well. That's why we're sending out the WRAL Storm Tracker to monitor the roads for your morning commute. We've got meteorologist Anthony Baglione geared up and on the move in the Storm Tracker. Anthony, you are in Raleigh this morning. Tell us, what are you seeing right now?
Chris, at the moment, thankfully, things are quiet. We're on Capitol Boulevard, but I want to give you a look outside, kind of tell the story for you here as we await the rains from what is currently still Hurricane Helene. Pretty quiet at the moment. You can see roads are dry, but I can really kind of make out those low clouds kind of indicating that we're going to be seeing at least the potential for some tropical impacts here over the next couple of hours. So we're going to continue to be out on the roads all morning long, keeping you updated here from the WRAL Storm Tracker. We do anticipate some severe weather on the way later on this morning, and we will be right here to cover it again in the Storm Tracker.
And the morning commute will get messy, and that's why Wake County Schools, the largest school system in North Carolina, will be closed today. Keep the buses off the roads. Other school systems are doing the same thing because of the possibility of flooding and tornadoes. We have those closings scrolling on the bottom of your screen. We will also keep the full updated list on WRAL.com.
And this morning at 11 o'clock, Governor Roy Cooper and emergency management leaders will give an update on the response to Hurricane Helene. You can watch that live on Fox 50 and on WRAL News Plus.
Tampa General Hospital put up a protective wall to shield it from some of the storm's impacts, and it's working. It's called an aquafence. The shield can withstand gusts of up to 130 miles per hour and storm surges of up to 15 feet. It is the only thing standing between the water and the region's only level 1 trauma center. The vice president of the hospital says about 800 patients are still at the hospital this morning.
And south of Tampa, the sheriff in Lee County, Florida, shared this video on X of Marine deputies performing a boat rescue in the area. This is the area where Fort Myers and Cape Coral are. The sheriff says that a person called 911 asking to be rescued from rising waters at his home. Deputies were able to get to him using their rescue boats, as you see right here. And the sheriff says that man is doing well. Thank goodness for that. Here in the Triangle, people got a taste of Helene a day early, though. A tree snapped and landed on a pickup truck in seconds. This happened at a home in North Hills. The owner was inside his home when this happened, but thankfully was not hurt. Meanwhile, a viewer shared what appears to be a rotating wall cloud on the Creedmoor Road Bridge near Falls Lake. There was also flash flooding on Glenwood Avenue and Roanoke Park Drive, making for a messy evening commute.
You can count on WRAL to keep you updated throughout the storm. Download the WRAL News app where you can find live radar, get alerts based on your location. Make sure your notifications are turned on. And remember, watch WRAL News live wherever you are, streaming on Hulu, YouTube TV, Spectrum, and the WRAL app. Durham fire officials are investigating a fire that sparked just east of downtown. It happened on East Pettigrew Street near South Driver Street at Nick's Golf Carts just before 8 p.m. Officials say more than 50 firefighters responded. It was under control in about 45 minutes, but a lot of damage left behind. No one was hurt. It's unclear how the fire started. 4:40 is your time. The future for New York City Mayor Eric Adams is uncertain this morning after he was charged with federal crimes, when he could make his first court appearance.
And major flooding in Florida from Hurricane Helene. We are going to show you new video from a community that was still in the process of recovering from Hurricane Debbie.
And here's a live look at Apex. It's calm right now, but rain and wind are on the way. We'll show you where Helene is and its latest track next.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It's a weather alert day today. We still have Helene. It's a Category 1 hurricane, and this track is a bit more east compared to what the forecast was. It's now getting pretty close to South Carolina at this point. Our impacts are going to be felt later on this morning. We have the potential for some tornadoes and some very gusty winds. This is a look at the forecast track. It's going to eventually make that curve to the north and west. Tropical storm warning still in place for Charlotte and for parts of the North Carolina mountains. Hour by hour rain chances today. Look at 7 a.m. through about 11 a.m. That's our best chance for storms. We will likely have tornado warnings. We'll be tracking those. We have 3 meteorologists in this morning. It's also going to be very windy. I'll have more on the power outage situation coming up.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, I want to show you some video from Manatee County in Florida. That's near Sarasota. This is flooding at a hotel, the Ramada Inn. Look at all of the water there. There were portions of this county that were under evacuation orders, and you can see why. I mean, the flooding in Florida just pretty substantial this morning. I'm going to keep an eye on all of these new videos that are coming in. I'm also tracking some delays at airports across the country. I'll have that for you coming up at 5 o'clock.
And take a look at this new video from Cedar Key, Florida. You can see feet of water covering the roads, strong winds pushing debris through the floodwater surrounding homes in that area. Helene is the third major storm to hit the area in the last 13 months, following Hurricane Idalia and Tropical Storm Debbie.
All App State classes in Boone and Hickory will be online today. The National Weather Service confirmed two tornadoes touched down in western North Carolina yesterday. The area is seeing more severe weather this morning, and the university canceled several events for Fall Family Weekend. That includes the welcomed reception and Apple Fest.
Fayetteville water customers are under a boil advisory after a water main break. According to PwC, periods of low or no pressure in the system increases the potential for bacteria. Customers are advised to bring the water to a boil for a minute before using. If you aren't sure whether you're in the affected area, we do have a link to the map on WRAL.com.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams could make his first court appearance today regarding 5 federal charges filed against him. He's accused of bribery, wire fraud, conspiracy, and soliciting campaign contributions from foreign nationals. An indictment says for nearly a decade, Adams accepted improper benefits. That includes luxury travel from wealthy business owners, foreign business owners that is, and at least one Turkish government official. Adams denies any wrongdoing.
Today, the union representing Boeing striking workers is set to resume negotiations with the company. The two sides are expected to meet alongside federal mediators. Earlier this week, Boeing made what it called its best and final offer, but the machinists union didn't put it to a vote. Boeing offered to reinstate performance bonuses and improve retirement benefits if workers accept the offer by today. The company is under pressure to end the strike that could cost it billions of dollars, with production stopped on several of its top-selling planes.
Obviously, Helene right now, the biggest story that we are covering here, have our teams all across the area, including the western part of our state. We've got meteorologist Amy Wilmoth, who is tracking the path of Helene at this very moment. Where is it right now?
It's getting very close to South Carolina, and I'll tell you, the track of this, the actual track has been pretty far east of what the forecast was. Yesterday, the track took it right over Atlanta, but look at where the center of circulation is. Again, it's getting very close to the South Carolina state line. We're going to have impacts from this, no doubt, throughout the morning and into the afternoon. This is a look at the radar right now. All of the North Carolina mountains basically under a flash flood warning right now. Parts of the mountains have had over a foot of rain, 6 to 8 inches of additional rain possible for the North Carolina mountains. Here locally, the weather's pretty quiet for now, but that's going to change by the time we get to 8 o'clock or so this morning. This is a look at the 24-hour rainfall totals. This is the area where we've had the heaviest rain in the North Carolina mountains. We've had some rain here locally as well. The flood risk for today is extreme risk for the North Carolina mountains, all the way from Boone down to south of Asheville. For us, it's a low to medium risk. The western counties, we have a medium risk for flooding. I do think we'll have some flash flooding with some of these storms as they move through. One thing we're watching for sure this morning is the potential for tornadoes. Look at futurecast rotation. We do have that threat for some tornadoes this morning. So let's take you hour by hour. This is right now. We don't have a threat right now, but by 9 a.m. in our southern counties, that's when the threat starts to increase. 10 a.m., that threat starts to increase for the Triangle area. And 11 a.m., we still have that chance for some tornadoes. We're going to be monitoring radar very carefully for rotation throughout the morning. Chris Michaels and I are both in the studio monitoring radar very carefully. A look at wind gusts right now. Not bad here, but winds gusting up to about 38 miles per hour right now in Boone. Winds are going to get worse as we progress through the day today. We'll have gusts maybe up to 45 miles per hour. 8 a.m., those strong storms moving into the southwestern part of the viewing area. It's with this band that we could see some rotation. And look at the wind gusts, 40 mile per hour gusts, maybe even higher than that. That will lead to some power outages. By 1 o'clock this afternoon, the worst of it likely in the extreme eastern parts of the viewing area, but it's still windy. Later on this evening, it's going to stay fairly breezy, and that's going to knock down some trees. We do have a wind advisory in place for today. 76 right now, very muggy with a dew point of 73. This is a live look at our camera in downtown Raleigh. Of course, they're getting ready for the Bluegrass Festival. Things are going to really settle down later on this evening, and tomorrow for the festival, it looks really good. But today, it's a mess. It's a weather alert day because we have that chance for some storms, especially, again, from around 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. That's when our tornado threat is going to be highest. We will likely see the tornado threat start in our southern counties and then make its way up toward the Triangle around 10 a.m. or so this morning. Weather alert day today, much quieter tomorrow. A few spotty storms on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, and then we're back to some dry weather by Wednesday. But certainly today, a very busy day here in the Weather Center.
And we'll be here with you throughout the morning hours and through the duration of this storm. Amy, thank you. LA Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani has made MLB history, and you could own a piece of it when his 50-50 club ball will go up for auction.
And NASA's Perseverance rover discovered something remarkable on Mars. Introducing the zebra rock. We'll explain why it's so rare. Now, all the rain we've been talking about means you may come across more snakes than usual. Right now it's considered snake season in North Carolina. Flooding and heavy rain events can cause snakes to seek higher ground and be driven from their usual hiding spots. A venom expert recommends being alert for the next several weeks. If you're bitten, you should immediately go to an ER to be treated with antivenom. North Carolina's snake season typically runs through late October.
The Dallas Cowboys are back on the winning side of things after a Thursday night win over the New York Giants. The Cowboys ended their two-game losing streak with a 20-15 win at MetLife Stadium. Dallas's defense bent but never broke, allowing only 5 field goals from the Giants. We have you covered on games happening this weekend. On Sunday, the Cincinnati Bengals will be in Charlotte to play the Carolina Panthers. You can watch that on Fox 50 at 1 p.m. Then at 8:20, switch over to WRAL to watch the Buffalo Bills take on the Baltimore Ravens.
The ball LA Dodger star Shohei Ohtani hit to reach the 50-50 club is up for auction starting today. This ball is now part of MLB history, but the auction almost didn't start as planned. That's because an 18-year-old said that he's the rightful owner of the ball. He said it was stolen from him in the stands. A judge blocked an attempt to halt the auction yesterday, and the auction can start today as planned, but the ball cannot be sold until a full hearing is held October 10th. Bidding begins on collectible marketplace Golden's website. That's today. It's starting at noon. Bidding starts at a cool $500,000.
New images of a striped rock found on another planet are intriguing scientists. NASA's rover Perseverance captured images of this black and white rock last week on Mars. A team of scientists were amazed by this discovery and named it Freya Castle. It's also nicknamed the Zebra Rock, and it's believed to have a texture unlike any seen on Mars before. Scientists hope the discovery can teach them about early Martian history.
Very cool. This weekend, Duke University will honor its outstanding students, faculty, and alumni. The school's annual Founders Day weekend celebration kicks off today. Singer Ed Sheeran will headline tonight's event at Wallace Wade Stadium. The concert starts at 7:30. It's open to all students, alumni, and staff. DJ Ninth Wonder, who teaches a Duke music class on hip hop and black culture, will join Sheeran. Retta will also make an appearance there. She's a Duke graduate you may just recognize from the show Parks and Recreation and Good Girls.
We are staying on top of all things Hurricane Helene this morning as we give you a live look at Tampa right now. Coming up, we'll show you water rescues that happened in Florida.
And there is another safety concern for Boeing, the newest problem found with 737 planes.
And we'll give you a first look at the season 2 trailer of The Last of Us.